Positive energy all the time. Good to see everyone. Late night, 2 in the morning. You know how I do. You got to catch me when you can. Rep your city. To all my people on Facebook, I'm representing the Windy City. To all my people on Kick, I'm representing the Windy City. To all my people on Twitch, I'm representing the Windy City. To all my people on YouTube, I am representing the Windy City. And on my other Facebook account, to all my people, I am representing the Windy City. Shout out to all my new watchers on X. This is my first time going live on X or making it available where you can see me on X. Let's make it do what it do. We talking a little politics tonight. Come on in, late night. Shout out to everybody that's watching this rerun. Here we go with the nighttime shift. You know how it is. We'll probably be going till midday today. Let's make it do what it do. So come on in, represent. Make sure you hit that like button. I need that like button to be popping off so we can get in the algorithm. And make sure you support the channel, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, and hit the super chat. So yeah, it's all the way up. In Chicago. Everybody's anticipating the National Guards coming to Chicago. Trump is threatening to send National Guard into U.S. cities, which is treason. City violence is not a cause for federal intervention. Americans that believe that Trump should send the National Guard into U.S. cities don't know the Constitution. Citizens in the U.S. that support Trump sending National Guards to U.S. cities are basically writing a bad check for their own situation, pushing themselves to an authoritarian government where there will be tanks on your streets next. Because Trump didn't have to do it, and just so people understand, Trump might have great intentions, but when you open that can of worms, will the next lunatic, if a lunatic becomes president, What will they do? And, a lot of citizens ain't thinking. You better think. When you open that can of worms, it might not close once Trump is out of office. As far as globally and global media, that's a bad look globally. The last thing you want the rest of the world to see is U.S. troops in U.S. cities. That's not going to look good. It's bad for business. And it's not good government. It's not intelligent government. It's unintelligent government. That money could be spent to send to appoint a special czar and send money to cities for more policing and have that czar monitor city police. That would be the best way to do it. And that would be done through the governors. So you would call in the governor of Illinois, you put your Democrat and Republican stuff aside, you would give so much money to Illinois to be directed specifically to Chicago for more police, and then you would appoint a U.S. czar to oversee that money to make sure that money is allocated correctly and is coordinated to really crack down on the crime. That's it. You would crack down on the crime. If you see that the situation is that the Cook County jail is not big enough and it's a revolving door, then the same thing you're trying to do for immigrants, you'll go build some jails. You'll take some of these buildings we got and make them jails. Not bad, just as nice as the county jail. And then more police would be able to arrest more people, and then you would spend money to open up more courtrooms so you can get speedy trials so your jails won't be overcrowded. That's how you would spend the money. Expand the court system where people could be prosecuted. Turn some of these empty buildings into holding cells so they can go to court, so you can get them off the streets. Don't give them easy bonds for certain cases. Certain cases you can get a bond. I wouldn't get rid of the cashless bonds for like bull cases ain't serious. In any cases concerning like a grand theft or some type of violence, then no cash bond. You got to come up with the money. You can't get a no cash bond. You get it. You got to come up with that 10%. I had to pay 10% when I bonded out. That's part of the game. If you ain't got no bond money, don't do no crimes. Bonds are good for crime. Okay? Bond. Cash bond to get out. Dudes ain't trying to go to jail if they got a bond out. Spend the money for speedy trials. If you don't bond out, you're going to prison quick, and you ain't getting out of prison quick. It's not going to be ridiculous, but it's not going to be fun. You're going to be gone. You're going to do 2 years straight. You're not getting no time served. You're going to do 2. You're going to do 3. You're going to do 5. You ain't got to give them 10 years and let them out in 4. Just give them the 4. The whole 4. Crime or drop. If the criminals find out that they got to come up with bond money and they go into trial quick and they go into prison quick if they lose their case, crime will go down. That all could be done through the state and the city, and monitor the states to make sure states like Mississippi don't send the money to the state and not to Jackson, because many of these states are misallocating funds that need to go to their major cities, and they're sending it to the rest of the state that don't need it. So there's ways he could legislate to help crime in Chicago. One of my biggest problems with the reporting of crime in Chicago, I think, is also uneducational. I don't think we're helping American citizens become more intelligent, because I feel that the media should divide the crime up based on the size of the city. So I don't believe that you should take a city that's got 3 million people and 77 neighborhoods and make the crime look like it's the same crime with 1.2 million people. And so they are definitely overhyping the crime in Chicago, and they're not teaching the youth about math. It is ridiculous to expect lower crime with more people. More people is going to mean more crime, but what about the percentage? What's the percentage of crime compared to the population? And you will find that if you took the percentage of crime in Chicago based off the population and the percentage of crime in New York based off the population, and then the percentage of crime in smaller cities, you would see that maybe the percentage is not as much as what you think. You see what I'm saying, M. West? Because when you say gangs in Chicago without considering how big Chicago is, that you're being misinformed. So you'll say, well, you got all these shootings in Chicago, but the West Side is a whole city. You can put a whole city, American city, on the west side of Chicago. You can put another American city on the south side of Chicago, and you can put another American city on the north side of Chicago. That's 3 cities. Divide the Chicago crime by 3. Now you got the real numbers. Imagine having a school that's got 1,000 children, right? And you got 50 fights. And there's a school that's got 300 children, and you got 15 fights. And you saying the big school with 50 fights got too many fights. But they got more children. Now you're comparing a school with 1,500 children with a school with 300 children and saying the school with 1,500 children got too many fights. This is what they're doing with Chicago. The media will spin to make us look bad, M. West, but why aren't there is nobody but me saying what I'm saying? Why is not the mayor of Chicago saying what I'm saying? Whose fault is it that the black talking heads don't let the rest of the country know? You know, you got to take into account the percentage. When you take into account the percentage, Chicago's not that bad. And so all over people are coming to Chicago and they throwing their hands up saying, what crime? Because if you come to Chicago, the odds is you're not going to see no crime. Because you're not going to no back street on the west side. You ain't going to no little neighborhood in Inglewood. You're not going to no little neighborhood in Little Village. You say Brandon is incompetent. I kind of was thinking that, but now I'm not thinking that because I feel like when Brandon became the mayor, he had good intentions, but now he's got to learn how to be a mayor of such a big city. So I'm thinking that Brandon will slowly become a good mayor after he really gets the job, because a lot of these people, when they run, there's no way they would know. There's no real way you would know how to be the mayor of Chicago or New York. There's no way you would know how to do that job until you got in there. That's got to be on the job training. There's no way you can go to get training to be a mayor. You know? So I used to think like you, M. West, but I'm watching him as he's getting his feet up under him, and I could see, oh, okay, he has to learn the job. You understand? Because it's a huge city. So a lot of times, I mean, to run a city like this, you have to elect a chief of police or some powerful alderman from a big area. Brandon came out of Chicago public schools. Yeah, that was great. You know, it was great meeting you. You're a beautiful young lady. You got everything going for you. I said, M. West is fine. And she fine as when. But yeah, I enjoyed your visit. You was a very nice lady. Very nice young lady. Gorgeous. And so I was talking about this, and I've been talking today about the troops. And I didn't understand why so many Americans support the National Guard in Chicago. Because there's no way in the world that any American is supposed to support the National Guards in a U.S. city. So I was talking to somebody, and I was like, I was talking about the citizens. I said, what's wrong with the citizens? The citizens are supposed to know that that's a foreign occupation, that you can't put troops, you can't put federal troops in a U.S. city. The U.S. city is up under the state. They're not up under the federal government. So I could not believe that so many Americans didn't know that information. Because I'm like, well, what's wrong with these Americans? They don't understand that Washington, D.C. is federal, and you can bring the National Guard because it's federal. But the states are not federal. The states are state legislation government. You can't send federal troops to, you can't send the national troops to a state. The state is not national. And you cannot deploy the National Guard for city crime, no matter how bad it gets. You can send them if there's an insurrection, like riots, but you can't send the National Guard over shootings and burglaries and muggings. So I was thinking, I was wondering why so many Americans don't know the separation between federal and local governments. I said, so I started talking about the U.S. Constitution, and I started talking about the Constitution test. And I was like saying, what's wrong with these people? They haven't took the Constitution test in the 8th grade? And the person I was talking to said, we didn't take the Constitution test in our state. At first, I said, what's the name of that test we used to have to take in high school? But I was wrong. We had to take it in 8th grade. And you couldn't get out of 8th grade if you didn't pass the Constitution test here in Illinois. So what they used to do is give it to you in the 7th grade so that you get a bunch of attempts. If you don't do it, you do it in the 8th grade. But my friend said they didn't have to take the Constitution test. So I said, oh. So a lot of Americans don't know about the federal government. Wow. So you got a lot of people saying send troops to Illinois that have no knowledge of federal legislation, state legislation, county legislation, and city legislation. Oh. So we have people that don't have any civil education. Wow. So I decided for my subscribers, let me let my subscribers know what's really going on. And what's going on is Americans don't know anything about American government. Because anybody that knows anything about American government knows you can't send federal troops to a state without a state of emergency. And a state of emergency got to be declared by the governor. That's why it's a state of an emergency. The state has to declare emergency and ask the government to send troops. The president can't send federal troops to no state. You can't do that. And also for Donald Trump to send federal troops to a state and a city, that would be 2 times he has violated the United States. The first time was January 6th when he directed citizens to attack his own government and attack the Capitol. Those people are supposed to be doing life in prison, in some cases the firing squad. Those January 6th rioters that stormed a federal building are supposed to be doing life in prison or facing the firing squad because that is treason. They all committed treason. It was an insurrection against the United States of America that should have been federally prosecuted and you're never supposed to see the light of day again. And so now, if Trump sends federal troops to a state or city, that would be 2 times that he was behind treason. He should be arrested and given life in prison or the firing squad or the gas chamber. That's treason. That is 100% treason. That is 100% waging war on your own country. 100%. And I couldn't figure out why nobody in the government knew it. And now I know they didn't take the Constitution test. We're dealing with Americans that don't know anything about American government. In 2025, 2024, 2023, all 2020 on up, we are dealing with Americans that know nothing about the U.S. Constitution, and they know nothing about federal law, and they know nothing about the United States government. I couldn't believe it. Because I learned all this stuff in the 8th grade. And you got Americans that don't know 8th grade level federal information. They have not took the Constitution test. When I was growing up, you're not going to high school if in Illinois if you didn't pass the Constitution test. They're going to give you sometimes 7th grade and 8th grade to pass it, but you're supposed to take it in the 8th grade. And if you don't pass it over the summer, you're going to have to keep taking it before it's time for you to go to high school. You ain't going to no high school, no public high school, without passing the Constitution test. It's not going to happen. Because you wasn't considered a citizen. You can't be no citizen. You don't know what it is to be a citizen. So this is why so many Americans are saying send the National Guard to a state. They don't know nothing about government. Trump knows nothing about government. He's the president, and Trump knows nothing about U.S. government. He really don't know. Donald Trump doesn't know anything about governing in the United States. Because the president's supposed to know you cannot send federal troops to a state. The state is not made up of the federal government. The federal government is made up from the states. The states control the federal government. The congressmen and senators represent states. And the states get together and make the federal government. So to send federal troops into the state is backwards. Because the states run things. There is no such thing as a federal government. A federal government is a collection of states. And a collection of states cannot send military to invade a state. These congressmen and senators are supposed to know this. That is treason. That is waging war on your own country. That is treason. They can only be deployed under a state of emergency, which would mostly be a natural disaster or some type of terrorist attack or some type of insurrection. 25 people getting shot in Chicago is not an insurrection. It's really not nothing. To be honest with you, it's really not. The shootings in Chicago, statistically, ain't nothing, to be honest with you. That's all cap. That's uneducated people, don't know nothing about statistics. That's all that is. All of you out there talking about 25 or 50 people being shot in Chicago, you're uneducated. You don't know math and you don't know what you're talking about. Because if you knew math and you knew percentages and you would do the percentage and say, well, that's a pretty big city. So considering it's bigger than most of the cities here, it kind of does make sense that a bigger city would have bigger crime. And for you to expect a bigger city with more people to have the same crime as a city 1/3 that size is slow. Because all you know is in Chicago, it's a city. In Chicago, it's a city. You don't. You're not doing. You're not. You don't do math well. You're not doing the math. So you want a big old city like this to have the same amount of crime as a small city, basically. Basically. So if you're super alarmed with the crime in Chicago, it's because you're not that well educated and you don't know nothing about math. And you think that's a lot when reality is really not. It's really not. Over a weekend, 50 people get shot in Chicago, and if you live here, you ain't going to know it happened. You will never know that happened. If I'm sitting here and somebody getting shot in Chicago that's an hour away from me, 45 minutes away from me, that's a lot to you? Because that's 45. You know how far the west side or the south side, and you know how far they are apart? Do you know if 5 people get shot on the north side, nobody knows that happened on the south side? That's like happening in a whole nother state. Do you know that? Let's think about it like this. From the north side of Chicago, you can get to Milwaukee in 45 minutes to an hour. You got places in Chicago that take 45 minutes or an hour. So technically, the shootings in Milwaukee, what if you counted them with Chicago because it's only an hour away? So what if Illinois expanded and Milwaukee, the people from Milwaukee lived here? You're trying to tell me that you wouldn't count for that extra size of the city to go another hour out and include Milwaukee? Because that's basically what you're all doing. You're expecting crime based on your little area where you're from. Because the other day, 50 people got shot and everybody was acting like it was the end of the world. But it's almost 3 million people here. Y'all really believe 50 people shot is a lot out of 2.7 million? Y'all think that's a lot of people? If you think 50 people being shot out of 2.7 million, put a thumb up so we can see if you slow. Los Angeles got almost 4 million people. Houston got 2.3 million people. Comparatively speaking to the size of these places, that's not much crime. You only think it's a lot of crime because you don't want to take into consideration the size of the city. It's like a lady got 3 kids and one of them get in trouble and the other lady got 10 kids and 3 of them get in trouble, and you say her kid's real bad, but she got 10. 3 out of 10 ain't too much different than 1 out of 3. It's the same, really. But you're not going to count the fact it's 10 children. So you're going to judge her. Now, 3 of her children got in trouble. She got 10. So with almost 3 million people, these crimes ain't what y'all think they are. These crimes in Chicago ain't what y'all hyping them up to be. You just don't know no math. You don't know nothing about Chicago. You don't know how big this city is. And if you don't know how big the city is, you just talking. Basically, you don't know nothing. You don't know anything if you're not a good mathematician or a good educator if you're not considering the size of the city. You wouldn't be a good educator. You wouldn't be good to educate the youth. You wouldn't be good. You would be an educator that don't know no math. And you'd be scaring people. Chicago got a lot of shootings. Chicago got a lot of people. Domestic violence is everywhere. So if you got 1 million residents and you're gonna have domestic violence. You're gonna have domestic shootings. A lot of the shootings ain't gang related. It's domestic shootings, husband and wife arguing. Daddy shot the son come in and beat up the mama. Daddy shot him. A lot of the shootings, the police shot somebody, but they just said it was 50 shootings. But a lot of the shootings, the police shot them. They don't tell you the 50 shootings. You never say, well, describe the 50 shootings. So you assume the 50 shootings was gangs. You don't know that 2 of the shootings, a boy was on some substance and came in and beat up his mama, and the mama got a gun and shot the son. You don't know that a boy was on some substances and came in arguing with his stepfather and shot his stepfather. You don't know that. You just think it's just gangs. You don't know that the police did some of them shootings. I know because I monitor the shootings on Chirac Homicide. Some of them shootings that they report, the police shot them. But they just tell you 50 people got shot. But the police shot 3 of them. That's a fact. They just report as a shooting. They don't give you the details. Security guard shot 2 of them because they tried to rob a store. Domestic shooting. Robbery shootings. Somebody tried to carjack somebody, and the victim in the car shot the carjacker, but it's just going to say 50 shootings. They don't tell you, they don't show you it's 77 communities. They don't show you how big this place is. If you look from the top of this map and you just go down to the number 22, we could fit your whole city in there. Whereas most of y'all live at, we can fit your city in this map 4 times. So you comparing your shootings to my Chicago shootings, but your city is only 1/4 this size. So multiply your shootings times 4 and tell me how many shootings you would have. Multiply your population by 4 or by 3 and tell me how many shootings you would have. And everybody say it would be a lot. But no, you multiplied your population by 3, by 4. So of course it's going to go up. But it's going to be the same percentage. Why nobody tell what's the percentage of shootings in Chicago based on the population? Huh? Let me see if we can try to figure it out. Okay. 2 million. All right, 2 point. I don't even know how I'm going to be able to do this. 7 2 1. So let me just say, I don't know how to do this. Let me just say 3 million. $3 million. I don't know how to do this. Wait a minute. That's a shame. I don't know how to do this. And I'm good at math. How would I figure this out? What is 50? I don't know. What is 50% of 3 million? I already know that. What is 5% of 3 million? So 5% of 3 million is 150,000. 1% of 3 million is 30,000. So that's not even 1% of the population. So 0.005% of 3 million is 150 people. So 0.00% of 3 million is 1.5. So that's 15. Ugh. So basically, basically, so basically 0.005% of the Chicago population is 150 people. So it's like not three zeros, but it's like 0.2.1. Wait a minute, 0.1% of 3 million people. All right, hold on, 0.2%. All right. So 50 people shot. With all of these people is somewhere around 0.02% of the population. Something like that. So 50 people shot in Chicago is 0.2% around there of the population. It's not even 1%. It's with 2.7 million people. Yeah, it's like 54 people. So that would be 54 people. Point. Uh, so 0.002% of 2.7 million people getting shot would be 54 people. So if we had 50 people get shot, that's just a little less than 0.002% of the population. This is how they hype up. This is how they hype up something to make it look like something is not. It's all hype. And I speak for all Chicagoans that depending on where you live at, you don't never know nobody got shot unless you watch the news. So this idea of Chicagoans is like, oh man, if somebody gets shot right now way on the west side somewhere, Chicago don't know. That's not a state of emergency in Chicago. That's a little hole in the wall somewhere. That's a little hole in the wall somewhere far away from everybody else in Chicago. That's a fact. Nobody even on the west side gonna know unless they in that little particular neighborhood. If you ain't in that little 4x4 blocks, 8x8 blocks, you don't even know. It ain't affecting nothing but that little block. So this is how they taking a big city with a big population and ain't making our people intelligence and giving you no percentage of what's going on. And so now you want to bring the National Guards into the city, which is because you don't know anything about the Constitution of the United States of America. You did not have to take the eighth grade Constitution test because I was wondering what was wrong with Americans. I'm like, Americans don't know that that's treason if he sends U.S. troops to the. No, Americans, you don't know because you don't know anything about the government. We don't. People don't know anything about the government. See, when I was coming up, you see, can you pass an eighth grade Constitution test? And the answer for 90% of Americans, probably 95%, is no. To graduate from eighth grade, Illinois public school students have to pass a constitutional test covering the U.S. and Illinois Constitution. Because schools design their own exam, many are shifting away from more traditional multi choice tests in favor of short written answers and other assessments that stress critical thinking. Many school districts, including Chicago's, are focusing their civics education toward helping students understand their role as actors in shaping democracy beyond just dates and facts. The quiz here is decidedly traditional. Answer 5 out of 15 true or false questions correctly to pass. Answer 9 out of 15. So you got to answer 9. It includes questions teachers have relied on to make their Constitution tests, including in Chicago public schools. Below the quiz, you'll find a short answer test. One example of the new format Chicago public schools recommend. Illinois became a state in 1848 and was the 21st state. True or false? Both the Illinois Constitution and United States Constitution have a Bill of Rights. True or false? The 10th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution recognizes the power of the states. The 10th Amendment. That's what Trump is violating. The biggest item in state spending is for highways. True or false? Most Illinois court cases take place in the circuit courts. True or false? The original 13 colonies included Kentucky. True or false? The U.S. Constitution allows for laws to be made on subjects that did not even exist in 1787. True or false? Your state legislature has the same lawmaking scope as the U.S. Congress. True or false? The U.S. House of Representatives has nothing to do with the impeachment of a president. True or false? The Declaration of Independence was the nation's first constitution. True or false? The Bill of Rights are the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. True or false? The U.S. Supreme Court justices are appointed by Congress. True or false? The Declaration of Independence came before the signing of the U.S. Constitution. True or false? States can make treaties with foreign countries. True or false? Federalism is the sharing of power by the federal government and state governments. True or false? Now, when I took this, it was different. So they are basically dumbing down Americans. Americans know nothing about U.S. government. He says this is going to get ugly out there. Be safe, OG. No, it's not, Jarius. They're going to just be standing around wasting money. If just the black people wanted to run the National Guards out, we can do it in 3 minutes. They are no threat. Chicago has 100,000 gang members. And the National Guard is no match for the gangs in the city of Chicago. None. That's all hype, bro. They would actually have to bring in the U.S. military to deal with Chicago if Chicago went up. A National Guard would make a horrible mistake to disrespect me because he a man just like me. And that uniform, that don't mean nothing. What that mean? That's just a uniform. I could buy a G.I. Joe with a uniform on. So them uniforms don't mean nothing like that. Them uniforms mean they were supposed to work for me. They supposed to work for whatever state they came from. Now, if you a National Guard from another state, you in violation. If you're a National Guard in Illinois and you occupy Illinois, you in violation of the Constitution. You basically committing treason. That's treason. And if y'all think that the National Guard is a match for the city of Chicago, you slow. Because America's of the people, for the people, by the people. You know, Russia had did a study, and China too had did a study about how they can invade the United States. And they came up with the conclusion they couldn't invade the United States because even if they outdid the military, the American citizens got too many guns. The American citizens in Chicago got too many guns for the National Guard. They'd get aired out. The National Guard couldn't go to war with Black Americans in Chicago. They'll get wiped out. I'm not promoting that. I'm just telling you, the National Guard is no match for us here in Chicago. They're not a match. You got to understand that citizens of Chicago been to Vietnam, been to Afghanistan, been to Iraq. We've been to wars. We what? You got soldiers live here. You got police officers live here. That's all hype. Oh, I'm scared of some white dudes that just put on some outfits like some guys that got a job that playing like weekend soldier. Y'all really believe they're a threat to me? Y'all man, I tell you, man. They can't police us unless we let them. It's all hype. He can only bring the National Guard to Washington, D.C. because Washington, D.C. is federal. There are approximately 2,344 Black police officers in Chicago. Y'all really believe that Black police officers in Chicago would let some white dudes in some G.I. Joe outfits come in and disrespect Black people? Who believe that? Y'all, where y'all from? So y'all believe that some white dudes can play G.I. Joe and come here and piss me off? Y'all believe that? If they come in, it's a stunt to take your money and they're just going to be standing around taking pictures. It's going to be a stunt. They're not going to do nothing. They're just going to be wasting tax dollars. Trump can bring the National Guards, use a lot of money to bring the National Guards. That money go to these different government agencies that's his friends, and his friends is going to make all that money. Ain't nothing but running the game on you because they got to pay. And who gets that money? Trump's friends get that money. Running the game on you. How much money did he spend in Washington, D.C. compared to what he accomplished? Who believes that the money he spent in Washington, D.C. was worth the crimes he stopped? Simple question. Do you believe that America spent their money wisely in Washington, D.C., or do you believe somebody made a lot of money? Because somebody making some money, because they're going to cost money. Now, where's that money going? And you telling me that money going to equal what they're going to get done here? Or is some of his friends getting rich? Because he already punking out, because we talking crazy here. We talking, this Chicago, this not where y'all live from. This the rack. This the #1 black city in America. This is not the place. This is not the place to play with us. So I appreciate you other black people in other places worrying, but you don't know nothing about Chicago. That's why we've been telling you, we the #1. We the #1 black people in the United States. Playing around in Chicago ain't a good move. If I was advising Trump, I would tell him don't do it. I would say, man, don't send them troops in harm like that, in harm's way like that. Because Chicago, they with it. They with it. They with it. And he know they with it. Man, you can't go get no white dudes playing G.I. Joe and bring them here. What Trump just say? What he just say? We're not going to war with Chicago. We know motherfucking well, we know damn well you not. Because you'll lose. Oh my soul, you'll lose. He said, we not going, we know you not. We know you not. We know you're not going to war with Chirac. We know that. We know you not going to war with Chirac, man. Not no weekend soldiers. We don't care nothing about that little outfit, bro. Yeah, I'm saying, bro, we don't, bro. Y'all really believe I can go outside and I've been out here pushing the line for years, and y'all really believe some white dude from somewhere could put on like some camouflage and talk crazy to me, and I was born here in 1958? And y'all believe some white dude could come here that's much younger than me and talk crazy to me because he got on G.I. Joe outfit? Y'all don't think that'll go left? That'll go left. Oh, I'll get out of it. I'll be nice. At the time, but that's going to be an act of war to me. To me, you're going to be declared war. I'm going to just be honest. If you got military troops in Chicago, that is, for us black Americans, that is a declaration of war. This is how we going to look at it, especially if it's white men in a big black city with rifles. We're going to look at that as the Ku Klux Klan or the Nazis. Point blank, period. We're going to look at that as a threat to our wives, a threat to our children, a threat to our parents, and a threat to our grandparents. We are going to look at that as a threat. And we are men. You don't stop being a man because you don't got on a G.I. Joe outfit. This to all the brothers out there cowering down, scary. They gonna come get your OG. If you're a black man and you talking like that, you should be ashamed of yourself. Your wife should divorce you. Ladies, if you got a man that's scared for black people because some white dudes is coming with some uniforms on, you need to dump him. Because them men is supposed to reject the president's order because he's breaking the law. And I feel sorry for them white men because they don't want to get court-martialed that's going to come here. They being mistreated by their own president because they know they are not supposed to occupy no city and no state. They're not supposed to violate the state of Illinois unless it's a national emergency. And crime is not a national emergency. Under no circumstances is domestic shootings and shootings over arguments and robberies. That is not a state of emergency. Under no circumstances. Under no circumstances, with almost 3 million people, is 50 people getting shot a state of emergency. With 0.002% people get shot. That's not a state of emergency. Hundreds of people would have to be getting shot for it to be a state of emergency. Facts. Not no 50 people over 4 or 5 days. That's not a state of emergency. That's crime. But that's not a government issue. That's not the government's business. If the government want to deal with that, just send some money to the police if you're a decent president. See, Trump ain't no good president. Because if I'm president, instead of wasting that bread, I'm hiring a czar. He gonna come to Chicago. I'm gonna send money to the governor, demand that money only be allocated to Chicago. The governor's gonna allocate money to the Chicago Police Department. The Chicago Police Department is gonna hire more officers, and my czar is gonna monitor the officers to help the city of Chicago. And we'll build some more jails if we have to. We'll take some of these empty buildings and make some jails and hire some more lawyers and some more judges to speed up these prosecutions so we can hurry up and find out who innocent and let them go and find out who guilty and to make the streets quiet. I would help the police. I wouldn't send the National Guards in here and make them leave their wives and children and have to take a leave from their jobs and leave their homes to come stand around in Chicago looking like some goofies just standing around at Grant Park with a machine gun in front of all these working people and children and tourists walking around just enjoying themselves. It ain't gonna be no crime, ain't just running around. Crime. Like on some food stuff. And y'all brothers supposed to know better. All you black men that live in these cities, y'all should be ashamed of yourself. People support that. Don't tell me nothing about you know nothing if you think what Trump is doing is smart. Because if you really a black man and you really know about crime and you know about the hood, you know that the hood rat's gonna go in the house. You know damn well the criminal's gonna go in the house. If you really, that's why I would tell Trump, why are you sending them to Chicago? The criminals gonna go in the house till they leave, bro. Trump, call me so I can save you some money. If I was the president and I wanted to send some troops here, I would not send no troops in the fall and the winter when everybody going in the house. Trump's stupid. If he did want to help, he would have sent them in June and July. He gonna wait till fall come, daylight savings time, it get dark early. Ain't nobody gonna be outside. Them National Guard going to be standing around in the dark, watching people go back and forth to work. And the criminals going to be in the house playing video games, waiting for them to leave. Who going to come out doing crimes when the National Guard is? Criminals is, when you got mice, do they just go and sit on the counter and cross their legs? No, they got a hole they go hide in. Y'all ever seen mice just set up their camp in the middle of the floor? Okay, criminals is like mice. You're not going to see no criminals. They're going to go in the house. They're going to be in the house. Man, I ain't going out there, man. Them boys out there, man. I ain't going out there, man. Them boys. As soon as they leave, the crime going to quadruple because they got to make up for all the crimes they wasn't able to do when you was standing your goofy ass outside and playing G.I. Joe. Man, y'all got to stop letting this propaganda and this TV play with you. Trump just stunting against black mayors in black cities, trying to make black people look bad, trying to make black men and black women look like we not able to govern. Talk about he want to stop crime, and he is a criminal with a mugshot and 37 felons. You letting a criminal tell you he gonna stop crime. He wasn't even supposed to be a president with felonies and a mugshot. And you got black men cheering for Trump, but if you got a felony and a mugshot, you can't even drive Uber or DoorDash. You would never be the president if you had them 37 felonies and a mugshot. But yet, you forget everything your people go through, and you cheer for somebody that's doing something that you, your brother, and your son, and your uncle, if your son had a criminal record, he couldn't be mayor, governor, senator, congressman, or nothing. Definitely would not be president. But you let somebody that's got felonies be president when you can't. And ain't nobody demanded that felons get jobs. This is what the American people are supposed to do. Once Trump became president, people say, well, okay, then let all the felons have a job. If that felon can have a job and be a president, then hire me. Why I can't get a job? Why I can't get a job because I'm a felon, but you can be a felon and be the president? So this has definitely exposed a lot of real soft black men for sure. A lot of black men has been exposed as unintelligent traitors too. And unintelligent. Don't know nothing about numbers, don't know nothing about statistics, don't take consideration how big the city is. None of that. All you know is a lot of shootings in Chicago. Chicago got 3 million people, man. That is not a lot of shooting for 3 million people. That's not a lot of shooting. If you look at this map, if somebody gets shot at the bottom at 53, y'all think it affects somebody up at the top at number 13? If you get shot at 53, if you go straight up to 69, 69 ain't even going to know what happened in 53. That's the real fact. That's how, look at this. This is all the neighborhoods in Chicago. Chicago got 20,800 city blocks. 20,000. Chicago got almost 21,000 blocks. So y'all really thinking 50 shootings over an extended holiday period is a lot with 21,000 blocks? Who believes that's a lot of shootings? With 21,000 blocks, street blocks. And who believes that the National Guard can patrol 21,000 blocks? Do y'all believe that the National Guard can patrol Chicago? The National Guard could can patrol 77 communities? No, they're going to be standing there for the news ops pictures at Grand Park at this spot. They're going to be standing 10 or 15, 20 spots out of hundreds of thousands of spots. They're going to be in what, 20, 50? They're going to be in 50 spots with 77 communities and 2,100 blocks. Y'all think they're going to do some good? He wasting money, man. He wasting money. People going to get robbed right with the National Guard here. People going to still get robbed. People going to still get shot. The National Guard going to be over there. Somebody going to get shot over there. That's a fact. That is a fact. The National Guard going to be standing over there. And 8 blocks over there, somebody going to get shot. And you think they going to come from 8 blocks and get there and the shooter going to still be there? He going to be gone. They going to be gone. Duh. Y'all think the National Guard is like, watch too much TV shows. Like the National Guard is like Superman. Superman couldn't do nothing about this. Because when he land over there, they over there. Superman, you'd have to have a lot of Supermans. We have 77 community. If you had Superman come here, you would at least have to have 10 Supermen for every community. So you're gonna have like 700, 800 Supermen. And that's Superman. Regular men, 700 can't do nothing. That 700 gonna do to almost 3 million people. It's really a waste of money. Everybody talking about OGB, and somebody I respect it, brother. You say, OG, be careful. Man, listen, I'm gonna be at home eating plant-based caramel corn, watching it on TV. Oh, they over there on Van Buren. What the hell? Unbelievable. What, they gonna arrest me on my way to the store? No, I ain't see it. What they gonna do? They gonna arrest me on my way to Whole Foods. They gonna pull me over coming from Whole Foods. First off, for the young brothers watching me, let me give y'all some game, because you know I got love for y'all. I just be messing around. First off, rule number 1 for the young brothers. You see this? This is a free pass. Okay? This is a free pass. See this gray? It's an automatic free pass. Absolute facts. I can walk past the National Guard, the FBI, the DEA, the police. As soon as they see this gray hair, they look the other way. Detectives pull up. They on this side of my car. They looking at my car. As soon as they pull up and see this gray hair, they go. Just in case you don't know. They not, when they see gray hair, they gone. They gone. They don't get hyped up over no older dude with no gray hair. They're like, okay, old guy. Ain't no police jumping out on me. Get out the car, sir. No police doing that when I'm 67. Police ain't gonna say nothing to me. Right now, if I was hustling, I could hustle all day. I could be making deliveries nonstop. I would never get searched. I would have to run a red light or do something crazy. But if I drove and didn't break no laws and my car was legal, I could be selling anything all day, every day, and I would never get pulled over, ever. That's a fact. Now, when I was 40 and down and my mustache was dark, yeah. Oh, black Negro, get him, that Negro. But with this, no. So I appreciate y'all worrying about me, but this is a no. Plus, I'm a G. And so National Guard gonna get the same thing y'all get. If National Guard roll on me, I'm gonna be like, y'all tripping, y'all bogus, y'all out of line. Don't get to talking crazy and think you're gonna be still standing out here, okay? Protect your neck. Watch yourself, little boy, in your little outfit. That's cute and everything. I like you look cute. Let me see your gun. Oh, can I see it? That's nice. I need one of them. You know what I'm saying? Because where I live at, these shorties are trying to get one of them guns. Like this Chicago, y'all liable, a National Guard liable to get robbed for their guns in Chicago. If they don't be careful, they're going to lose them guns. They're going to take them guns because you got your gun like this and I'm behind you like that. It's over with. What are you going to do? You super National Guard? When I come up here, don't move. Put the gun down. If you're a National Guard, what you going to do right now? You going to play National Guard or you going to drop the gun? If it's 5 of y'all National Guards and 10 shorties hit the corner with the switches, what y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna reach for them? Y'all gonna try to do that? That's a good question. I'm not promoting that. I'm just trying to show my audience the reality of war so that you respect that the National Guard is going to be putting a life in danger. It's not like it's sweet. That's why you got on armor. That's why you go to war. When you go to war, it's not like you just in war. Yeah, we're in war. No, the other people at war too. Trump bogus for sending them men that ain't real army men, no weekend warriors into Chicago. He fouled. Because we got shorties that's more warriors than them. We got shorties actively in shootouts. And you going to send some guy that been sitting on with his wife that got a job and make him put that uniform and come out there with active shooters? That man, Trump bogus for that. Putting them men life in danger. That's all he doing because they just a big deal to like. I know if you're in a small city and stuff, you like the National Guard, but in a city like Chicago, it's like, who? Because people talk to me like, be careful, OG. I'm like, be careful. The National Guard, the one gotta be careful. This is my turf. He's stepping on my turf. They hurt the wrong gang member, it's gonna go up. They hurt folks, it's gonna go up. They hurt Mo, they hurt Lord, it's gonna go up. That's why in LA, the Mexicans punking the Crips and the Bloods out there. The Mexicans ain't punking nobody here. Venezuelans ain't on nothing here. The VDs ain't on nothing. Because I remember that. Everybody was hyping the VDs was it. And what the VDs did. What the Venezuelans doing in Chicago? Nothing. Out the way. Remember when the Venezuelans was coming? Like the Venezuelans gonna get y'all, OG. All right. Where the VDs at? Out the way, scared. Because some things happened to some VDs up here. Yeah, I can't say, but they got introduced to the rat, you know. I see everything. Y'all don't know. I can't show that kind of stuff. I wish I could show you them Venezuelan man and woman in the hood at the laundromat trying to pop it off and what happened. And how they got kicked out the laundromat in the most gangster way. You know what I'm saying? They F around and found out. You know what I'm saying? Venezuela, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Dude, you got us effed up. Well, what? What? Well, you from the backwoods somewhere. What y'all be doing down in Venezuela? You know, these are the real black people. These black people here, these the ones, these the great migration blacks. This they children and grandchildren and all that. This is a city where the granddaddy crazy. I'm a granddaddy. The granddaddies is crazy here. Do I act like a normal granddaddy? Do I act like a normal 67-year-old? No, no. I act like some of y'all 16 and 17 years old. Can't you see I ain't grown up? I'm still on dummy. Like what? I'm in the gym. I'm working out. I'm with all that. Ah man, listen. But I'm cool and I'm a diplomat. So if I do go outside and I see the National Guard, I'm gonna be over there talking to them. Yeah, I'll go talk to the National Guard. Where y'all stationed in Illinois? All right. How old you are? How old y'all? Y'all got children? Man, I bet y'all can't wait to get back home. I ain't gonna ask them nothing to make them get court-martialed or go against their commander in chief, because you know we respect rank and file. But you know, you sending the National Guard to a big city, they're gonna be standing around seeing working citizens all day. So they're gonna be like, "Why are we here? These people work." You know, it's the most like what? They're gonna be like, "Why are we here?" Because they're giving y'all the impression that in Chicago, there's people just man. Chicago is a major city with jobs and people work. It's 2.7 million people here. You know how many people go to work? You know what rush hour traffic is like? So if you come here, you're the National Guard, you're going to see a whole bunch of people going to work. You're going to see a whole bunch of postmen. You're going to see mailmen. You're going to see UPS trucks. You're going to see Amazon delivery trucks. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see a whole bunch of police. You're going to see a whole bunch of firemen. You're going to see a whole bunch of ambulances. You're going to see a whole bunch of doctors and nurses going to work. You're going to see a whole bunch of people work for fast food restaurants. They on their way to McDonald's to work and all that. You're going to see a whole bunch of people going to get their fast food. You're going to see a big city with people going to work. You're not going to see no criminals. Where? You're not going to see no criminals. In a big city like this, people got to pay bills and make money. You're not going to go outside and see no criminals. Criminals? If the city was full of criminals, we wouldn't have no cell phones. We wouldn't have no internet. We wouldn't have no cars. Like people got to pay their car note. You're going to see American citizens going to pay their rent, working to pay their mortgage, working to pay their car insurance. Like, what do you think you're going to see? You're not going to see no criminals. Criminals pop out and pop back in. And only people out there is working people. Ain't no criminal gonna pop out on no National Guard like that. They what? Y'all really believe this city can run with criminals? You don't know how many working people is. You don't know how many white working people's here. You don't know how many foreign working people here, how many black Americans work. We work, man. We work. You got the National Guard standing out there looking at people going back and forth to work that ain't in no danger, because a lot of the citizens in Chicago is concealed carry, man. A lot of these shootings is dude tried to carjack Shorty and she concealed carried and she popped him. And then they'd be like, okay, that's 48 people shot in Chicago. I never told you that one of the people got shot was the criminal, man. She laid him down. I do Chirac homicide, a lot of criminals get shot in Chicago by security guards and by armed citizens. They making you think all the shootings is just gangs. Most of the shootings are domestic. Most of the shootings are domestic. Most of the shootings is some young white dude came home, started beating up his mama. His daddy went and got the weapon and shot the son. This is most of the violence is domestic. Dude came home, went in the bedroom. There was a dude in there with his wife. He went to get his gun. The dude in there with his wife had a gun. When he came back, the dude with his wife shot him, or he shot the dude like that, or he shot the dude and the wife. That's a lot of the stuff is stuff like that. It's not like a lot of it is crimes of passion and stuff like that. They don't really break down to y'all. And a lot of the shootings is police-related shootings. A lot of them. Okay? I know because I monitor all of them. So go follow me on Chirac Homicide. This is my account. Okay? I got 35,000 posts. I've been doing this since 2013. And so I can tell you every shooting because I posted it. Okay? See, 3 people stabbed on 2955 West Wilcox. The National Guard is not going to be on Wilcox to stop that. Male 17, 725 Southwell. The National Guard will not be there. Male 19 on 843 West 30. The National Guard will not be there. These is little cracks and crevices. Male 42 shot on 3359 West. The National Guard will not be there. The National Guard will not be on 3027 West Polk. The National Guard will not be at 9332 Luella. They ain't going to be on 110th and Ashland. They ain't going to be on 4000 West Lake. They're not going to be on 4845 West End. The National Guard will not be in all these locations, man. Okay? And a lot of this is people arguing. A female shot in the abdomen. How a female got shot in the abdomen. Arguing with another female or arguing with a man. A lot of these is just arguments and stuff with people having the disputes. Some of these are criminals getting shot. So when you look at it, all you see is people getting shot, but you don't know the backstory of why they got shot. Like 51 shot, 9 unalive. The youngest was 14 years old. The oldest was 63. These is for all different types of reasons. And the main reason, it was the holiday and they was drinking. And people got into it because they was drinking. You feel me? Those holiday shootings don't have nothing to do with the city. It has everything to do with alcohol and arguments. There's nothing you can do about that. When you see, I'm giving y'all game. When you see these shootings go up during holiday, that's because people be drunk. They don't be having nothing to do with gangs. They have everything to do with liquor. And people getting belligerent and getting into unnecessary arguments because of alcohol. That's why it go up during a holiday. It has nothing to do with like just crime. It's not really, I mean, it's crime, but it's domestic stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like unpreventable stuff when you got 3 million citizens. You got 3 million citizens getting drunk over the weekend. I mean, what you think gonna happen? It's going to be fights. It's going to be stabbings. It's going to be shootings because they drunk and we got almost 3 million people. How you going to make 3 million people be peaceful? Do that make sense, y'all? Did it make sense that 2.7 million people could be peaceful? Who believe that? Who believe a city with 2.7 million people will be peaceful? See what I'm saying? You know doggone well it's not going to be peaceful. It's 2.7 million people drinking and doing all type of stuff, cheating on each other, stealing, breaking in homes, all type of stuff. But that's a police situation. The police only stop so much crime. The police main job is to show up after the crime. The police main job is you get home and somebody stole your car and you call the police to report your car stolen. You get home and somebody done broke into your apartment and you call the police. Most of the police job is crimes reported after the fact of the matter. The majority of police jobs ain't prevention. There's some prevention because there's police presence, and that makes a lot of people don't want to try none because they can't get away. But most of the police jobs is being caught after something happened because the police can't be on every corner. The police can't be on 21,000 blocks. The police can't be on 21,000 blocks standing there trying to see what's happening on every block. Police can't be in everybody's apartment where the uncle get to arguing with his nephew and all of that. Man, if you knew how many different reasons these shootings would happen, you'd be like, oh, I get what you're saying. Man, it'd be a whole lot of reasons that these people be getting into it. It don't just be, it ain't gangs. Gangs is just a small part of it. It's relationships, it's cheating, it's all type of stuff, robberies, domestic, all kind of stuff. Stuff that can't no National Guard do nothing about no husband and wife arguing and he shoot her. But the National Guard, you know what I'm saying? Think about it, y'all. The National Guard can stop a husband and wife from arguing and she say, I'm going to leave you, and he shoot her up in their apartment. Don't you know a lot of these shootings is happening inside in apartments and houses? See, I don't tell you all of that. Y'all believe 50 shootings in Chicago all happen outside? I be trying to make sure my subscribers be like, don't be going for the media don't really tell y'all. A lot of these shootings be happening in the house. How the National Guard gonna stop that? They be happening in the house. They be happening in front of the house. The National Guard is not on these little blocks where these people live. These shootings don't be happening on big streets, downtown like that. They be happening on blocks where people live at, where they be getting into it. What can you do about that? What can any law enforcement do about people getting into it? With 3 million people. Chicago got 2.7 million people. If it go up to 3.7, crime's gonna go down. You know what? So if we had 2.7 and Chicago go up to 3.2 million, who believe crime gonna go down? If we go from 2.7 million to 3.3 million, who believe crime gonna go down with more people getting into it? These be like dude at Walgreens. They in line, they get into it. It be stuff like that. It be arguments happen. They in the hot dog spot. Remember the lady's son came in and shot the man for beating up his mother? It be stuff like that be happening. You can't, the National Guard can't stop that. The National Guard can't stop crime in LA, crime in New York, crime in Chicago, crime in St. Louis, crime in Dallas, crime in Houston, crime in Miami. They can't do that. If you got people, you're going to have crime. Period. You're not going to have how you going to have no crime in the society? Unless you be like a weird society like Dubai. Dubai ain't normal. And especially if you pushing alcohol. So a country that sell a lot of alcohol, that be talking about they want to stop crime, everybody know crime and alcohol go hand in hand. In a society that don't push marriage, everybody know that shootings and cheating go hand in hand. Sleeping with somebody's wife, messing with somebody's man. Everybody know that. National Guard can't stop Shorty from cheating with her man, and she catch her out there. And these women nowadays, they carrying. These ain't the women back in my mama day or my grandmama day. These women's got pistols in their purses and on their waist. You'll be surprised how many of these shooters is women doing the shooting. I'm just giving y'all all the scenarios. So it's not like one type of reason that they shooting. The reason there's a lot of shootings because there's a lot of different reasons for shooting. It's a lot of problems going on. So that's why you got so many shooters. It's not gangs. That's false. It is some gangs, but these shootings ain't gang related. Some are. But look, let me tell y'all about gang related. That'd be false too. Let me give you a scenario using myself. I go in the store, me and my woman. I'm a four-corner hustler. Boom. I go in the store. I go in the aisle. My woman go in the aisle. A dude go in the aisle, start talking to my wife. I come back. I like, hey, dude, this is my wife. He's like, man, I don't care nothing about that being your wife. I'm trying to holler at her. Right? We get into it. Boom. I do something to do. But both of us live in that area, so I do something to do. I whoop him or he whoop me. I go back. He was a GD. I was a four-corner hustler. Now, all his friends gonna be GD. All my friends gonna be four-corner hustlers. So when I go get my brothers and my friends, and we go on and find out the block, he don't go on the block, and we get with his brother and his friends, and some shooting happened, they gonna say it was gang related. But it wasn't gang related. We was just in gangs, but it was woman related. We wasn't shooting each other over gang politics. He was disrespecting my wife, and we just happened to be gang members. So a lot of this stuff that they be saying is gang related don't be. It don't really be gang related. It don't really have nothing to do with the gang. It's just two groups of people get into it that happen to be in gangs. But that wasn't gang related. That was woman related. Because dude respected my woman. And the proof of that is We could both be GDs. And I'm going to go get my guys, and he go get his guys, and it'll be GD on GD. Because it ain't over the gangs. It's over this man don't got no morals and don't know how to say, oh, my bad, man. I didn't know she was married. Some of these dudes don't got, you ain't raising people that got no type of decency. You can't fix that. You can't fix that with the National Guard. Y'all raising too many young men and women that's disrespectful and ain't got no honor. And when you get a bunch of disrespectful people together, it's going to always be violent. Because a dude will come up and look at your woman's butt right with you standing there with your wife. And that's why this young generation got so much violence going on, because you're disrespectful. The National Guard can't fix that. And a lot of that stuff don't be gang related. When we in gangs and we got to call for help, we going to call the gang. But we not calling the gang because this is gang related. We calling the gang because that's our friends. It's the gang members. It's our friends. So now when it happened, they said it was gang related. No, it wasn't. It was not gang related. We just in gangs, but that ain't what we beefing over. We beefing over something else. Like Woody broke in Peanut's car, stole his chain, and Woody started all that beef between them two crews. That wasn't the gang. That was Woody. Broke into somebody's car. He didn't know who car it was. He didn't know that was the opposite gang until he seen the Peanut on the chain. That's when he realized this must be Peanut stuff. But Peanut was in a different crew. But when they got to clashing, you can't call that gang related. That was Woody stealing. Woody started all of that. If y'all know what's going on with the Young Thug situation, they'll turn around and say it's gang. It wasn't gang. The gang didn't have nothing to do with that. He didn't even know who chain it was, so how's it gang related? So as soon as I get into it with somebody, and boom, they go and they see my folk corner hustler tattoos and stuff, they gonna say it's gang related just because I'm a folk? No. But that's what they gonna do. They're gonna say, oh, he a folk. They're gonna look at my age, they're gonna say, oh, high ranking folk corner hustler member. They're gonna say I'm high ranking and all that. And I ain't even high ranking, I'm just me. They're gonna look at my hair, they're gonna look at my beard, they're gonna say I'm high ranking folk corner hustler. That's what they're gonna say. They're gonna say, yeah, it's a high ranking folk corner hustler, he got into it with this guy's a GD, it was gang related. I ain't even know dude was GD. You know what I'm saying? What? That's what they be doing, y'all. That's what they be doing. So it's like when people tell you about Chicago, pull up a picture of Chicago rush hour traffic, right? So people cannot and can really think before they be jumping to conclusion. You know what I'm saying? When you think about Chicago, think about this. When you think about Chicago, this is what you need to think about. The real Chicago. People got to go to work, okay? You see all these cars? You understand? Y'all think it's more gangs than it is this? No. No, this is what's mostly going on. This is what the National Guard gonna see when they get here. Okay? This is what the National Guard gonna see, y'all. Stop letting people hype y'all up. Do this look like gangs? Y'all think gang activity and crime take care of a city? This is a huge city. And this city should be known for an economy. This is what Chicago should be known for. And these citizens don't be knowing none of that stuff go on until they turn on the news. Every now and then it might happen in your neighborhood or somebody might have broken your car. But I speak for a lot of people in Chicago. We don't even be knowing that be going on. I have to search to find my information on Chirac homicide. I have to search for that. That's real, y'all. I have to search for this stuff. I don't know none of this stuff. I have to search this. You see all this crime? I don't be knowing this. I have to search. I be getting this information from Spot News and from the news. I would not know none of this happened. There's no way I would know about all these shootings and all this. It's not on the news. It's not nowhere. The news don't report every little shooting. Y'all stop believing that. I'm in Chicago right now. How much shooting you heard? How much ambulances you heard? You heard any ambulance? No. Y'all watch me. Most of the time when you hear ambulances in Chicago, they're going to pick up old people that had a medical problem. That is a fact. You can go all over this city. You're not going to see no crime like that as big as this city is. Y'all know how big this city is? When crime happened, that's some little bitty something happened over there somewhere in the corner somewhere. Ain't nobody going outside. Man, I'm scared of crime. Man, the city would be closed if the citizens were scared of crime. Ain't nobody scared of crime like that. I'm speaking for Chicagoans. Crime, the citizens got concealed carry. Come to Chicago doing crimes, your chance of getting shot is high. What's going to happen when you're a criminal and you want to break in the house and you break in the house of an old lady, but a grandson there, and he a gang member too? He a gang member too. So you a gang member, you done broke in the house, but little Shorty Remo there, and he want to know why you break in his mama's house. See what I'm saying? You done broke in the house, her son, a police officer. You done broke in the house, her son, a state trooper. her son, the state police. You gonna get smoked. A lot of people, that's why they be trying to carjack, conceal carry people. A lot of, man, listen, you know how many shootings be, the criminals be getting shot? They don't be telling y'all the truth. A lot of the shootings in Chicago is the criminals shot. That's a fact. I report, I know. He tried to carjack the wrong one and got shot. But the news just say 13 shot. They don't tell you 3 of them was carjackers. So you're going to think that the carjackers shot the people with the car. But no, the carjackers got shot. And they don't break that down. So then Trump be like, 3 people just got shot yesterday in Chicago. We got to go and stop the crime. The shooters stopped the crime. That was the criminals got shot, fool. Criminals are getting shot. That's why some of the shootings is up so high. All them shootings is not innocent people. Criminals are getting shot by concealed carry. These are facts. That's why the shootings be up that high. Because they be trying to rob or carjack the wrong ones. These sisters in Chicago is packing. You just see a female in a car. You and your man try to carjack her, she shoot both of y'all. They're going to be like two people shot on Clybourne. Then you're going to say, dang, the shooting too high. But they don't tell you a female driver with concealed carry shot two men trying to rob her. So how you going to say you want to come stop the crime? Shorty just stopped the crime herself. But they don't tell you that. So you think the citizens got shot. When in reality, the criminals is getting shot, man. All of these shootings ain't citizens, it's criminals. That's why Trump need to holler at me. Trump, is criminals getting shot. Yeah, it's criminals getting shot. Trust me what I'm telling you. A lot of carjackers getting shot. Man, a lot of carjackers are getting shot. A lot of home invaders are getting shot. A lot of them. A lot of people getting shot in Chicago are actually the criminals. That's a fact. I wonder if AI know it. Look, no, there are no statistics. They don't got see? Now look. Now look. Now tell me this ain't suspicious. Look what it say. There are no statistics of the number of criminals shot in Chicago each year. Rather, the data tracks the total shootings and victims. See, y'all? That ain't suspicious. See? The focus of official data is on victims and overall crime statistics, not on the legal status of those involved in the shooting. So they calling the criminals victims. Y'all don't see that? They calling the criminals victims. So Trump don't even have the right information. Now, unless why aren't they keeping the status of the criminals? See, nothing talk about the criminals. That ain't suspicious. That ain't suspicious, y'all. What y'all think about that? Because if they showed the criminals, then all that hype would go away. Y'all don't think that's suspicious that if a carjacker got shot, we should know the difference between the criminals got shot and the innocent citizens? Yeah, why they don't distinguish that? So now you're gonna say it's too much crime when the people committing the crimes didn't get to commit the crimes because they got shot, and you're gonna call me shooting a criminal to stop him from doing a crime? You're gonna call that a crime? That's gonna go down as a crime statistic. With me shooting two carjackers that didn't get to carjack me, and that's gonna go down as a crime statistic. What y'all think about that? What y'all think about that? What y'all think about the crime statistic is criminals getting shot. They putting that down so it looked like it was innocent. It looked like it was citizens. How many of them is they doing a year? So at the end of the year, when they show the total amount of people shot in Chicago, how many of them was the criminals? You understand? They playing with the numbers and don't want to do their job and give you the real statistic. Okay, out of this many people shot, this many was actually the criminals, and this many was from other things. Because they definitely should separate. You understand? The criminals. But they got the criminals down as victims, D-Rec. I know, I be posting it. Lady shot dude trying to carjack her. Dude tried to carjack the dude, but he was an off-duty police officer and he shot dude. This is happening. Like I said, I got the channel. I be posting it, okay? Y'all listen to me. I am the crime expert, okay? I am the one posting all of the shootings, and I've been doing it since 2013. And a lot of these shootings, it be the criminals getting shot. Look, a man who tried to disarm a security guard Friday night in the South Loop ended up getting shot in the head. There you go right there. See? A man who tried to disarm a security guard Friday night in the South Loop ended up getting shot in the head. Now, they're going to report that as a shooting in Chicago. Trump going to say it's too much shooting, but the criminal got shot. The criminal got shot. And a lot of these are criminals that's getting shot, but they ain't telling you. They just saying this one shot, that one shot. They're not telling you. They're not telling you who's the criminal. 51 shot, 9 unalive. How many of them people was the criminals? They're not telling you. They're not telling you. See, a 32-year-old man was shot by armed robbers. But sometimes the 32-year-old man be the one shot the robbers. They ain't clarifying that. They don't clarify that. So the numbers don't be accurate as far as crime. Because a lot of these shootings wasn't crime, they was self-defense. A lot of these shootings ain't crimes. They never say, well, the shootings went up since concealed carry. They don't give you the details. They just post it as a shooting. So when you look at all these shootings, you don't know which one was the criminal and which one is the victim. So everybody getting the fault. We don't know which one of these people is the criminal. That's the point. Well, they ain't telling you. You see, they're not giving you the fact. Like right here, they say a man was shot while walking in Edgewater on Saturday night. But then you might find out later he broke in somebody's house and they found him and shot him. What did he get shot for? What did he really get shot for? Was he innocent and got shot, or had he did something to somebody and got shot? They don't distinguish the cause. So the reports don't be real. They be fake. When you look at all these shootings, they don't really give you the real background. You know what I'm saying? And so we're not really worried about Trump. We need to make sure that all our children have to take the Constitution test before they get out to eighth grade so they know how to protect themselves in the justice system. That's what we need to be doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's up with that. I hope y'all enjoyed the conversation. Be safe. And also, if ICE comes to your city, make sure you keep your birth certificate on you, okay, to prove who you are. I changed my name legally in 1981. When I was 23 years old, I changed my name legally and got rid of my slave name. So I got my papers showing that it is therefore ordered a judge and decree that the said petitioner name to be and the same is hereby changed from Michael Dwayne Stewart to Pharaoh El-Aton. The seal is on it. You see the seal right there? And then I have my birth certificate proving that I was born Michael Dwayne Stewart, and I changed my name. So I keep my papers on me, and they're not going to bother me, but there could be a racist or a hater, right? That see me out there, just want to try to make my life miserable. And boom. And also, if you encounter ICE or the U.S. Marshals or the National Guard, always be respectful and polite. Don't be combative. Don't be combative. You know, I'm trying to teach my stepson that everything he combative, he not gonna make it. I'm walking, I walk up, ICE jump out. Freeze, sir. Boom, boom, boom. What's your name? My name is, I told him, Pharaoh El-Aton. I got all my papers in my pocket. Check it out. I'm a U.S. citizen. I was born in Chicago in 1958. I'm going to stay calm. You stay calm, they energy come down. You get hype, they energy go up. You want to bring their energy down. All that rah-rah, that ain't going to get it. Stay calm. Keep your energy down. Okay, boom, they throw me in the van anyway. They're going to take me to some building. If my energy is down, they ain't going to do nothing but release me when I get to the building. They're going to still release me. At the end of the day. Don't be out here arguing with ICE or the National Guard. And keep your ID and stuff on you. And if you know, a little leery, just one thing is, to all my people in Chicago, keep a cool head because they only can stay so long and they wasting taxpayer dollars. And what's going to happen, no matter what, the bill is going to come in for how much Trump spent on the National Guard. And then he's going to be in a lot of trouble because he's going to have to show how that benefited the U.S. When you then chased all the migrants out the country, you can't hire the food. That's billions and trillions of dollars lost in food. One farmer and strawberries is rotting right on the vines. And you spent all this money for this military. And where's the budget going to come? You understand? You say, they saying they're getting strict on the borders within each state. They just wasting money. They're just wasting money. And they're not looking for black Americans. They're looking for Hispanics and Asians and Africans. And they're looking for black immigrants, mostly black immigrants and Hispanic immigrants is what they're looking for. They're not looking for foundational black Americans. Anyway. They're not looking for you. Everywhere I see, they're grabbing Hispanics left and right. They ain't grabbing blacks like that. They're grabbing Africans, Haitians, and Hispanics. That's who they're grabbing. They're not grabbing black Americans. Not at all. They're not grabbing black Americans. If they was grabbing black Americans, it'd be all over the news. They grabbing Hispanics. They just grabbed 400 Hispanics from a Hyundai factory. They ain't. That's why Trump say he's not going to war with Chicago. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to war with Chicago. They grabbing these Hispanics, man. Get them out of here. And Africans and Haitians, people don't belong here. That's what they grabbing. And Tom Homan, he not just doing no miscellaneous arrests. He really doing targeted arrests. He not just grabbing just anybody. They're not just grabbing anybody. They know who they looking for. They got addresses, faces, and locations for who they looking for. They know exactly who they looking for. So you really ain't got to worry about ICE. I don't know. I spelled that stuff wrong. You know what I'm saying? They ain't looking for us. See, they grabbed all these people from the Hyundai. They not looking for foundational black Americans. They looking for Asians that don't belong here. They looking for Latino Hispanics, and they looking for Africans and Haitians. That's who they looking for. And Caribbean fugitives. That's who they looking for. They ain't looking for me. And I support them. Look at all these people here, Asians and stuff working for Hyundai, taking jobs away from American citizens, getting paid subhuman wages, and doing who knows what. You know what I'm saying? They should find Hyundai. They should find them an arm in the leg. You know what I'm saying? 475 people grab good. That's jobs we could get that they got to pay us fair wages. They don't want to pay us fair wages. They want to do some slave labor. And they running up in Mexico too. They going to war with the cartels in Mexico right as we speak. This ain't got nothing to do with us black people, so stay out of it. Do not be out there protesting the National Guard and ICE. Sit your ass down somewhere. It ain't got nothing to do with you. Let it play out. I doubt if the National Guard even can come. If the National Guard come, they'd be lucky if they be here 3 days because uh, the governor going to go crazy on that. So that's going to be a legal battle right there that Trump going to lose. So just go to the store and get some food and stuff in the house and watch the news and enjoy what you see and get in your car and go to work and just have your ID and stuff with you. You know what I'm saying? To be able to prove you ain't no African immigrant or no Haitian immigrant or no type of immigrant. That's it. That's it. That's all. Y'all, thanks for supporting the channel. You know what I'm saying? Hit the super chat, cash app, Venmo, all that. And don't get all upset over this stuff, taking it too far. Like, don't overdo it. You know what I'm saying? Don't overdo it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Pharaoh. Yeah, don't overdo it. Just watch how it play out and unifying your communities to be able to keep up with each other so they don't just be snatching people off the streets. If we get out of line, then we'll move accordingly. But don't jump the gun because most of this is just grandstanding. A Republican president trying to grandstand on black and Democrat mayors. It's just like a stunt that's going to backfire. All right, so y'all stay positive. This, that real.